Hi everyone, this is Anthony O'Flynn coming to you from Springbrook, which is in the Gold Coast hinterland. I'm facilitating a silent yoga and meditation retreat here for Easter, and it's been amazing. Tomorrow's the last day of the retreat, and I've just ducked out to make this video quickly. I want to share my thoughts on the event, a few things that have been going on, give you an update. It's been a while since I've made a video. I've just been really with so many different projects I'm working on. It's been a really busy time. So just give you a bit of an idea of the beauty of Springbrook. I've got to keep my eye on the ground a little bit because of snakes around here. Someone saw one apparently yesterday. And I just saw my first wallaby. I haven't seen a wallaby yet this year. I saw one just before. Such a lush, beautiful part of the world, Springbrook. It really is a treasure. And of course, the Gold Coast is hosting the Commonwealth Games, which starts next week as well. So lots going on down here, and obviously lots going on in the world with this much anticipated shift that people have been waiting for. And I'd like to share with you my thoughts on the latest round of hysteria, which I've been observing on the internet with this so-called event, which well, the idea of this event occurring in March has not transpired according to the many predictions, prophecies, regressions, all this sort of information which has been made available for people to digest and make of it what they will. But it's not really fair to evaluate those things based on today just being April the 1st, April Fool's Day. Quite ironic really, but given the nature of prophecy, that dates can fluctuate, times can fluctuate. So what we need to consider is these dates that have been given in a 3D linear time. Why have they not transpired, and is there some fault with the modality, the people who are offering this information, or is it simply the nature of the event itself that it's actually not possible to give the precise time? And I would say the latter. That's exactly how things appear from my perspective. And basically what we're talking about here is a form of consciousness that may be accessible to humanity that is beyond space and time. And in this way, linear time and this idea of timelessness, of this single one duration, past, present and future, simply one reality, it doesn't really match up with the 3D way of integrating things into this sequential experience of time, which we experience in this reality, and particularly in regard to the calendar that we use, the Gregorian calendar, which is basically one day every 4 years. That's why we have a leap year. So it's not an effective way of keeping time, even in 3D reality, much less to integrate the idea of timelessness, which is an intrinsic part of the shift. So what we are considering is that it is not possible to give a date of when these events will occur. And that's my fundamental conclusion after seeing prophecies that have been occurring for all kinds of things, from the second coming to asteroids to comets to pole shifts to all kinds of celestial events for thousands of years, and very often they're wrong. And many people justify them saying things can change, like the causes change, which produces a different effect, and that may be true. That's a valid point. The thing to consider though is that if you are anticipating an event and you are waiting for an event and you're waiting for someone to basically, or something, or some force of nature, some energy wave to do your evolution for you, that's extremely disempowering. Because not only is it a form of spiritual bypassing, it's not taking responsibility for your own evolution. And that's really something we've all got to do. We've all got to have this maturity that waiting for some prophet or some alien species or some being or some other entity to fix all our problems, to solve all our issues, to give us this transcendent, this elevated state of mind without us really doing anything. It's not an empowered form of consciousness, and this is something the New Age movement has got a lot to answer for, because we all need to do our own inner work. We've all got things we need to purify from. We've all got things we need to heal from. We've all got to become the best version of ourselves, to become more exalted, more embodied, more loving, more compassionate beings. That's where the work, there's so much work to be done here for humanity, that to think that we're ready to go to another place automatically is, it's not really an accurate perception of how things are. Now, having said that, the waves of energy are still coming in constantly. The last really big one was actually on Christmas Day, which was a very powerful form of the descension of energy into Sahasrara, into the crown chakra, and also descending into the upper chakras, Vishuddha and Hatha, so on, heart chakra. And this is the Christ consciousness. This is the embodying the shift with the consciousness that is required to make this evolutionary leap, which there is no free ride from. We all have to connect with this. But the waves of energy now, the subtle waves of energy, I can tell you after being at this silent retreat, are really coming in more powerfully. And I'm really noticing it even from last year. So this is the 10th year I'm running this retreat, and I can say that the stillness in the mind is becoming easier to connect with. The subtle energies are of a higher vibration, more accessible. It's not such hard work. We don't have to really push in the meditation to get into these deep states as what they used to be. It's coming easier. And that's what these guys are doing at this retreat. You know, they're getting up and starting meditating at 7 o'clock every morning, and doing the yoga practice and really doing what needs to be done to prepare for whatever may come in the future. But I would suggest that sitting and waiting for this this process to occur, we have to address these things now. So when bigger waves of energy do enter the subtle reality that we can access, that we're actually open to receive them. And that's really the key point, is that we need to be open to receive. If we're not, then we simply can't. And this is going to be an unfortunate lesson for many people, to realize that there's no getting around this. There's no rushing it. There's no fast tracking it. There's no way of simply avoiding dealing with our evolutionary soul issues that we've come to experience, we've come to grow from, we've come to learn from, to really embrace this higher state of consciousness. And this is exciting, because the subtle waves coming in are actually assisting this to make it go faster. But to think that there's a magic pill, well, there never has been one in classical spirituality that I know of. There's never been one that's simply gone from off to on as far as enlightenment occurs. If you look at all the great spiritual masters, they all have ultimately the same message, that it's a process that we all need to go through and to celebrate, not to avoid, not to push it away, not to numb out, not to escape into various forms of addictions and so on, but to actually embrace and embody the process of evolution. And it's different for all of us. What one person has to learn is very different from another. And this is something that requires a more mature attitude to not judge that one person's soul journey is very different to another. So I'm just going to get around here to show you. I'm down at the waterfall here at Springbrook, and I'm just going to try and get around here so I can show you the background of where we are here. So it's a little bit too much of a shadow. So this idea of the event is very wonderful to think, and I wish I was wrong. I wish there would be some energy wave that really would dramatically accelerate this process. But from my perspective, the energy waves are actually already coming, but they're not definitive, in the sense that there is no other energy wave and then there's just one that takes us into this higher state of 5D or fourth density of ascension, whatever name you want to give to it, of an awakened state of being. And I would gladly be wrong about all of these things, and wish that March had have come with some sort of celebration, because my feeling is that in 3D linear time, this process is overdue, that it has been delayed, it has been stalled. In the bigger picture, of course, everything is going exactly to plan. But my feeling is this, is that when we're integrating a consciousness that is beyond time and space into this linear reality, the best analogy I can give you is that, imagine if you were downloading something or uploading something and it's 90% done, and then the last 10%, it takes much longer than the relative 10% it's taken to get to the 90%. And by that I mean it feels like we're almost there, but the last part is being delayed, it's being postponed. We haven't quite downloaded that information in this way. That's how I feel, that we're getting there, but there is still a way to go. And there's simply no way to evaluate when this will actually occur, which is the beauty of the journey itself. And this is something that we all need to embrace, that we are simply having this state of amnesia. We don't understand what's going on in the big picture. We have this feeling that there is something imminent, that something is coming, but the idea that the event is coming soon, that is extremely disempowering, because you're always projecting your consciousness into the future, whereas evolution is always occurring here and now, with each breath, with each moment, with each day where we take that course of action with what we're doing with our life. This is where the evolutionary process is itself. And this idea of it coming soon, not only does it take us out of the present moment, it projects us into the future, that there's some savior moment that is coming soon, and it's always coming soon, and that we have this hope. And then when the dates come that these prophecies are not fulfilled, then we get despondent, we get disappointed. Some people even get angry. They want to vent their frustration and take it out on the people who are making this information available. But this is really not the way forward for us individually and collectively, that we are masters of our own destiny. If humanity can evolve and make this evolutionary leap, then the shift would happen much faster. We're the ones that are creating the shift, and we often overlook this part of the component, that this wave is coming from the central sun or some magic wave of energy, and that the beings are modulating it and the ETs are facilitating the process. Where's the individual person responsibility in all of that? And that's really what we need to take responsibility for, our own evolution. It's always been that way, it always will be that way. Sure, we can be assisted, we can be mentored, we can be guided, but ultimately we are the only ones that can walk up that mountain. And there are no shortcuts. So when we have this idea that the event is soon, sure, we will experience that eventually in linear time. And that statement is not contradictory from what I was saying earlier, because ultimately we will experience a shift in consciousness as we experience it in linear time. But not possible to say, because consciousness is timeless. It doesn't have the same relationship with linear time as we do on a daily basis with the clocks and all these other things, how we experience this time day by day. So it's exciting that we don't know. It's exciting taking personal responsibility. Don't be in a state of waiting. Be in a state of empowerment. Don't wait for the goal to come to you. Walk towards the goal. Move towards the goal. Move towards the higher state of consciousness, because this is where the preparation actually takes place. This means that we are actually on board. We are attuned. We are vibrating at the frequency necessary to continually get these upgrades. Because I believe that this is a process. It won't be simply a magic pill that will take care of all these unconscious patterns and all the forms of suffering that we have today on this planet. That we can only accumulate in our being, step by step, what we are ready to perceive, what we are ready to experience, and what we are ready to embody and embrace. And that should be a celebration, not a burden. So I hope that you don't lose hope, that you remain resilient through this process of awakening that we're going through. Try not to attach yourself too much to dates, because it really can be a letdown for many people. And then of course the resilience in us fades and we feel despondent, and we feel that we just basically don't have the energy to continue. But this journey is something that there will be a celebration at the end of, and it will be it'll be worth the wait in linear time, because we are on this journey of awakening, and there are many signs that are transpiring now to indicate that. I've actually noticed that there is a shift occurring in the physical heart, that there is an opening occurring with the channel, which I was surprised to experience, because my background in the 7 chakras would automatically correlate any awakening of the heart directly to the heart chakra, which is the energetic body in the center of the chest. But I've noticed there have been some profound openings actually related further to the left in the physical heart. In the energetic body itself, like a column of energy and opening, It's very difficult to put this in words to give some sort of perception to what this is occurring at the moment, because it only started occurring as I perceived it in February. But I think it's the beginning of something bigger changing in the energetic body, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So I'm going to end this video here. It's starting to rain a little bit, but happy Easter everyone. I'll probably get this up after Easter, so thanks for watching, and as always, if you're watching this, you are the shift.